Hello everyone, it is now time for the second video of my channel. Today I want to do an overview of the Masquerade character sheet I have built for this chronicle. Of course, as some of you might remember, this is kind of the same character sheet I built last chronicle, just that this time you got the addendum from Mind's Eye Society in it, which changed a few things, but not too much. I will not cover everything in detail because there's just too much info to track and display, but I will do an overview of the main tabs, and for some of them I will cover them in detail in upcoming videos in the next weeks. Before I start with the content that apply to every player, I want to give some info to the storyteller who want to use this character sheet for their own game. Because there's some tab on that sheet that are directly for VSTs. The first one is VST info you got here at the bottom, where you can enter like info on your game domain, province, city, setting, your VST name, email, and stuff like that. You got a bunch of field you can enter. You can also fill the living and hunting zone that your character can use, that will come in the when you manage downtimes using my toolbox and stuff like that. You can also enter influence categories, which will be used in your like influence, elite, underworld, allies, and contact management. It is completely optional, but if you want to use it, you can. If you don't, still the rest works without issues. The other tab that you can unhide and use as a VST is the VST mod tab. This one by default is locked. You can change nothing by default. If you want the password for that, contact me in private. I'll give the password for you. I have locked it to be sure that no one changed stuff there, because you can change stuff and like break the rules. So this tab is actually made to enter, I don't know, maybe you got bonuses or malus to your attributes, or maybe you got an NPC helping you as a retainer for a few months, or maybe you've won an auction or something like that. You can also create new merits and new flaws, or you can also change the cost of an existing one. So maybe you won an auction for a prestigious sire, or maybe you got a nice shiny auctions where you got 2 merits, like including one for a smaller price than the 2. So you can decide if it's a new merit or an existing one, create the name, get the cost, and then it will appear in your list you can select on your character sheet. Or you can add a clan that is not available in your current setting. So maybe you want to play a Bali in the Camarilla, or maybe you want to play I don't know, a Ventru in the Independent Alliance. So using that section you could do that kind of thing. Of course, this means like you're out of the rules, which is why that tab is locked, but sometimes it can be useful. Other info I need to tell for everyone who wanted to use this sheet: the fact that it works with Excel. If you don't have Excel, you can try to use Excel Online, which works fine. It's free, you just need an account and everything will work without issue. Don't use OpenOffice, don't use the other open source Excel tool that you can find. It's not going to work. You will break the formulas, stuff will not work, don't do it. Excel Online is free. I had some players last chronicle that were using that every month. It was working, and if sometimes you see something that does not work, I'm trying to fix them as soon as it comes, so just send them my way and we shall see. For the rest of the presentation, I'm going to do an overview of the other tabs, the tabs that are normally visible to everyone like in the game, but as I said, some tabs will be covered in other videos because they just like take too much time. So the main tab for your character is really like the character tab, which is the one you see on the screen, where you got all the info about the character, the player here at the top, You got character here. Lineage, I may remove them. I will decide in the future if there's something there or not. Creative discipline, this is something I will cover later on when I will create in a video like creative characters. You will see how those works. Blood boon, concept, attributes, willpower, stuff like that. Background, skill, as I said, I'm not going to cover everything. There's a lot of stuff in that sheet. So if you got a question or if something is not clear, you can contact me and I'll see what I can do. But of course, this is the tab that like you want to use for your character. The next one is the XP log tab, where you got a bunch of input on the left and output on the right, depending on if you gain XP or if you're spending XP, and in the end you want to balance out your stuff. The next tab is the VIP tab, which is like just VIPX points, so approval, cost, item, pretty straightforward. Downtime, influence, those two will be described in another video later on, so I'm not covering them right now. Goal, it's an optional tab. It's something you may use if you want. Your storyteller may want to use it, not an obligation. Useful if you do, can work without it. So just to give some info on your character, what are their goals, what they want to do, and what they've been doing to achieve those goals. The boon tab, again, straightforward, like what you've entered, from who to clan, sect, reason, stuff like that. The Elder tab, it is something that I will cover in more detail later on when I will create an Elder character, but it's mostly like something you need to fill if you want to play an Elder, and make sure you got all your threshold as described in the item done. The VINCULUM section is just for Sabbath character that do Volturi, so you can enter all that stuff in your character sheet. The print character is really like the tab that you want to print when you go to the game. Most of the time I was printing page 1, page 2 only, because this is what you need as a character of the game. Page 3, page 4 are mostly status overview if you don't have a book nearby. And page 5, you got data on your discipline with this pool, you got combat maneuver, you got beast rate, you got humanity, you got derangement, you got dramatic system. So mostly FYI info, but if you got the book, you don't need them. The text tab is what you can use for the approval database. You remember you had a section where you need to paste your character sheet, so just copy paste column B followed by copy paste column D, and you'll have everything you need there. It's not everything on your character sheet that appear under those two columns, because it would just create too much content, but just like it gives you some info that will be handy for the people approving your character. There's other tabs that are hidden. You don't really need to know what they are, like lineage, weakness, influence are mostly info about the lineage. The clan weaknesses and the influence section. The AGR is about the XP calculation with the XP log. The A data is for the downtime actions data, and the data is all the data needed for the formulas, the drop down option and stuff like that. So I will not cover them because they're messy and they don't bring a lot of value there. So for today, that's kind of the info I wanted to give you. If you got questions, or if there's something I've talked too fast and you would like me to either get back or answer some questions, send them my way and I'll see what I can do when I've got a few minutes free. So thank you and see you later. Bye.